welcome to Film Witch, a podcast with me, Sandy Settle, practicing pagan witch and tarot reader for over a decade and a big fan of films. Here I talk about movies, their intersections with witchcraft and femininity, and whatever else I have on my mind, which is usually a lot. Blessed be, come in and sit for a spell. And please, rate and review me on Apple, follow me on YouTube and Spotify, and share it with someone you think might enjoy it. It helps way more than you might realize, and it means everything to me. Please consider joining my Patreon, which is the best thing you can do to help this podcast continue. You can also find me on Instagram and on Letterboxd at FilmWitchPod. You can send kind words, suggestions, and business inquiries to filmwitchpod@gmail.com. From 2024, Johnny's back from the grave to find a locket that belongs to him, rip up some youngsters, and tramp serenely through some verdant forestry. Chris Nash's fresh, folksy take on the slasher genre is a feast of ambient beauty and extreme horror alike. Hello, everyone. Here I am. I know it's been a minute. It's been 2 months since my last episode, but here we are, and I'm very, very, very excited in this episode to talk about In a Violent Nature with Alex Jacobs, who edited this film and is also my Letterboxd mutual. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here with me.
Oh, hi. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I was pretty excited when you said you would do this.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, you're kind of okay. A lot of people probably don't even know that you're on Letterboxd, right? Like,
yeah, and that's actually should be the case. I think. I don't know if you should plug my handle or anything, but I've the more work I've started to get, the more I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't be putting like all these opinions.
Oh, yeah,
easily accessible online. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone who is in any aspect of filmmaking kind of feels like that at some point, so it must be kind of weird. Yeah, but you are a low-key presence there, so I will say, unless you had mentioned on your Letterboxd that you were involved in this film, I would not have put it together, so
yeah.
Maybe we'll just let people find you if they want to and leave it at that.
Yeah. I am on there, but
you're on there.
Look around. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to find me, but yeah, I'm usually posting just kind of bit reviews, like little quips, but sometimes a movie will set me off and I'll dump 6,000 words without thinking about it.
It's funny that you say that because I don't feel like a lot of people on Letterboxd. I think part of it is I feel I have some anxiety when it comes to social media. I don't use a lot of social media. I kind of just use Letterboxd and watch videos on YouTube.
Very very logical reaction to have anxiety to social media. I think that makes perfect sense.
So usually what draws me to people in Letterboxd is something about their writing that I like because I'm a writer also. So it's I remember. We kind of became friends on there, and I was just always reading your reviews because they're usually pretty short and just a few little thoughts, but they were always always interesting thoughts and always sincere. And I'm very drawn to real things. So
thank you.
You're very welcome. But yeah, that's kind of what made me want to be mutuals with you on there. When I don't follow a whole lot of people, so it's kind of it's got to be something. I really liked your vibe, man. You're a really chill vibe. But you're also a film editor and a filmmaker to some extent. Would you call yourself a filmmaker?
Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that, but yes, I have. I direct experimental shorts and other stuff. I have a lot of scripted directing experience. I just haven't done much of that recently. I went a little crazy in quarantine and started making experimental visual stuff. And I was so used to not thinking about it as a movie that I've had conversations with people at film festivals where I'm like, yeah, I guess I haven't directed anything in a while. And they'll be like, don't you have something in this festival? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. But yes, it's experimental stuff is very easy to kind of not categorize as filmmaking work, but that's unfair. And I should probably take it a little more seriously.
Well, I had noticed, I suppose, that you had some other film credits on Letterboxd specifically. So, yeah, that's cool. I hope you continue to do that if that's something that you feel like you want to do. But
you don't get into experimental filmmaking for really any other reason than that you feel compelled to do it. You certainly don't do it for the money or something.
Making a steady, no steady paycheck there.
Yeah, no, not really. Not for my street lamp experimental short films. I'm doing there's art installation in Madison where I live though next month that I'm doing. I've been given a wall
sick.
that's going to have like a 4-hour sound drone loop, and they were like, just do whatever visuals you want on that wall. So I get excited to do things like that. Yeah,
that sounds awesome. I guess if anybody's around there, they're gonna show up at your the one person. Madison, the one other person who follows me on Letterboxd who lives in Wisconsin.
Just watch, yeah. everybody's coming to Madison for film.
That sounds awesome, though. Yeah. Good, best of luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's it's just something that's, the stuff that you do that when you forget to do it, you like get a little depressed and you wonder why you feel depressed. And you're like, oh, I haven't made like experimental video art in a while. Like that's my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I that's how I feel if I haven't written anything in a while. I'm what am I doing with my life? Anyway, getting back to this film that you worked on, it's now been, we were just talking about this before we started recording, but it's been a few years since you worked on this film. So I'm sure it's, not always going to be easy for you to kind of like go back through the filing cabinets of your mind to find everything. But...
So I've edited 2 movies since then.
Wow. That's awesome.
So the filing cabinets have been filled and cleared out several times. Like it's very funny how quickly it kind of happens that like when you're editing a movie, it's all encompassing. You have to memorize all the footage. It has to live in your brain like completely. And then once it ends and it's like pictures locked, you're actually done. It's really remarkable how quickly it all just starts to clear out. Like everything starts to just get deleted from your brain to make room for new stuff. At least in my case, I don't know. There's things you remember, but it seems like largely your brain kind of knows that it's time to move on from that information. All that extremely specific information. Like I used to be able to tell you the shot numbers in this movie. I can't do that now. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness. I mean, that would be maddening.
Yeah.
But for my own part, I get what you're saying. Like if I have finished a book, I feel like I have to kind of clear it all out and get rid of it to a certain extent in order to move on to the next thing. I think every artist, right? I don't know if you would categorize editing as a kind of artistry, but I think that it is, right, when it comes to being part of a larger work artistically like this is. So I would categorize it as such.
I have been told pretty flatly by some insensitive people that it's not one, which is very funny. Yeah, like not like they were trying to harm me in some way, but just like kind of careless. Yeah. No, I've heard every opinion on the matter. I believe it's something that you can do better than others if you're inclined towards it. I don't know. I think it's an art. Yes. I think everything on a film set is an art. Have you seen costumers? Good God, the work that costumers do.
Yeah.
No, every little piece of it is creative.
Truly a group effort, right?
Yeah. It's great. I love to visit set when I can. I don't get to do it on everything, but whenever I do, I just love to be like around that kind of the buzzing energy of a thing. Like everybody's kind of colliding to bring this thing into existence. It's great. I love it.
That's wonderful. So there was I remember a lot of really fun, positive buzz around this film before it came out and after. But I remember like people being super, super excited for this film to come out because there was just like a really great trailer that had dropped. And then I remember seeing your little thing that you posted, where you had worked on it. And I was like so excited. I was like, that's amazing, but I wanted to ask you, how did this project come to you? How did that happen?
I was part of a very weird internet phenomenon called Racer Trash, which was, I should get better at explaining it by now, but it's basically it was like an artistic collective of editors. We all got together in the pandemic and recut like old movies, did remixes of old movies and streamed them on Twitch. It was a lot more weird than it sounded. Like it was very like psychedelic re-edits of old movies.
That sounds like such a COVID thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And
only during COVID.
I was too into it. It was my whole life for a while. Like it was the only thing I did. I got very into it. That's again, I went crazy. I started making experimental visuals. But whomst among us? Am I right? We all went there.
We all went a little mad.
Yeah. But yeah, that caught the attention of Peter Kaplowski, who's the producer on the movie, and he brought us up. We did a few Racer Trash screenings in Toronto around TIFF that year, not as an official part of TIFF, but like that was sort of the beginning of his Midnight Dankness event that he does. And he and I became friends and just kind of kept texting. And the following spring, I was texting him about a slasher movie that I really didn't like. I was going, as you've seen, I can occasionally do on Letterboxd. I was going on and on like about something that I like a new slasher movie that had come out that I really disliked. And I like began to wonder if I was over texting. I was like, oh, I'm probably just assaulting Peter with all these thoughts. And then he like, there was like the dots and then the dots went away. And then like after a bit, he was like, I'm producing a slasher movie. I really think you might want to do a call about it. I was like, wow, yeah, that'd be great, man. And then, had a lot of calls came after that, and they were at that point. I don't know if you know the history of the movie, but this was after they had first attempted to shoot it quite disastrously.
I did a little bit, and I realized. I watched the film with the commentary prior to us recording, and they talk about that several times.
Yes, they did a full attempt at shooting the movie that did not go well, and they ended up not using any of that footage and saying, you know what, like let's just try again next year. So they were completely out of money. It was not even like a job I was taking to get money. But I was like, I'd love to read the script, and I read it, and I loved the script. I think it's a beautiful script. It really came through what the movie was supposed to be, like really came through. And I was just so thrilled by it that I like just thinking about it made me smile. So I think that helped me out a lot in the interview, like in the calls because Chris Nash didn't know me. He was not he definitely told me directly he was not a Racer Trash fan. He was not like he knew about it. He was kind of suspicious of like, who's this guy coming in to edit this movie. But I was just so thrilled to talk to him about it. And I had so many questions about it. I was talking about all kinds of other movies with him, and none of them were horror movies. I think that was a good thing, actually. I think they had been talking to other editors who were probably just bringing up like Friday the 13th. And I do love those movies. But later I was told that I was like one person they were talking to who was like talking about Jackie and who was talking about like Pablo Larraín movies and just other touchstones that the movie was obviously a part of, or coming from, I should say. But yeah, I basically just lucked into it, I guess. But luck is meeting people, getting to know people, and not fucking up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's, I had been editing for like 12 years professionally before this happened. Like I've been editing for a long time. So I think some people hear that story and think that like maybe like as if I hadn't edited anything before. Like no, like that just like it wasn't like this kind of luckily came out of the blue for me. I did set myself up for it by doing this for a very long time, being good at it, not fumbling the gig, which is pretty important. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just from the moment I was told about it, I loved it so much, and I think that came through when I was getting to know the people who were making it, and I ended up getting to do it. Although that editing process took a pretty long time just because we kind of hit a point where we all had to go get other jobs so we could actually make money and like survive. Because it truly was just like a labor of love completely. And I remember talking to Chris on the phone at one point, and both of us had like part-time jobs elsewhere. And it was just like, oh, wouldn't it be great if this movie was a hit? That'd be sick. Huh? Just kind of like, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And then it happened. The fairy tale happened, which I have to get used to.
Wonderful. Oh, I love that. I love everything about what you just told me.
Oh, nice. I'm glad. Yeah, it's a nice story. I mean, I had to then immediately get used to like being like, okay, that's not going to happen on every movie. Like not every movie you do is going to explode. But this one really did. And I was thrilled by that because I honestly thought it was going to be not that. Like I loved it, but I very consciously was like 1 out of 10 people are going to love this. Like I totally thought it was going to be a niche thing like that people discovered later. I was like, this is going to be a cult classic in like 10 years. People are going to find this. So then when it kind of all happened immediately, I was just like, whoa, like this, I couldn't even like the negative reactions couldn't even hurt me at all. Cause I was just, I couldn't believe that many people were even watching it. It was just such a thrill.
That's so awesome. Yep. I'm so glad that this film was, successful and got a lot of positive buzz and everything. I remember, the first time I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm going to love this. Like, but I'm a big, I'm a big slasher fan. And I was like, this is a movie for me. And I wasn't really like, oh, this is going to be a huge hit. I don't think anybody really would have anticipated that necessarily. But I mean, horror fans are super loyal and incredible. So maybe you guys should have known. I don't know.
I guess.
Just
Yeah. I
saying.
mean, I just thought it was going to be a bit impenetrable for anybody who was kind of looking for just kills, which is funny because then they ended up kind of like the movie became known for having such savage kills. And I, the whole time, maybe I'm desensitized or whatever, but I the whole time was just like in love with how kind of serene I thought it felt and how like the nature side of it I really loved. And I thought that was going to be a huge barrier for entry for a lot of people. And it was. I mean, if you scroll through Letterboxd, it definitely was for plenty of people. But that it was embraced by so many people was just such a huge surprise. That was very nice.
Yeah, I think in the end, that's all you can really hope for, right? Is that like a group of people really appreciate what you made. And that's certainly true for this one. I mean, okay, so the film is now infamously and uniquely from Johnny's The Killer's perspective. How did you approach that? Did you and Chris have conversations about what he wanted you to do specifically with that? I mean, because you're kind of, it's almost like a game footage sometimes, right? In that you're just kind of over Johnny's shoulder.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that too. There was like a lot more of that than we used. And I initially was putting as much of it in as I could, and it was like a way longer movie. And Chris was very I know.
I'm gonna tell. We can talk about it in a minute, but they name drop you 2 times in the commentary. And,
oh, really?
And we can get into it, but
well, it's not. I love saying that, and people are like, "Whoa, I want to see like the longer walking cut," and I'm like, "You really don't. Like, it didn't work." I recognize that like more than anybody. I was like, "Okay, yeah, this isn't quite working." And Chris was very deliberate and very specific about how he was casting kind of a wide net in shooting all that stuff. Like he knew shooting a lot of him walking around. He was like, "We're really going to use like the best 10 seconds of this here and there." Which, is a really cool approach. I was happy to have that much of a choice with it, but I really was like in love with the sort of the drone-like quality of his footsteps and keeping things wide. I fought very hard for, I shouldn't say I fought very hard, like it wasn't a big thing, but like there's the very long walking take in the movie was kind of I think on at least Chris's part, kind of okay, you can have this one like that, where it's like there's like a 1 minute and 41 second, I think, take of him. It's right after the yoga death where he's just marching through that field.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted that to be as long as possible, but structurally, that's also in a good place in the movie for us to do that. That was sort of my big learning experience on this movie was structuring it more like in a way that we could get away with a longer take later, like setting it up and being very deliberately measured with the pacing of it, so that then later on, after like the biggest, most sensational kill scene in the movie, arguably, like then we can ride out a really long walking take. And it's if that occurs at the exact midpoint of the movie, that's 45 minutes in, like that's right in the middle of the runtime, and from there it's kind of down the mountain. And it's looking at the whole timeline, the movie is very deliberately paced, which is a funny word to use for it, but Rye Barrett, who's the actor who plays Johnny, he set the pace for the movie fantastically just in his performance, just by what, like we discovered in editing that you could cut to him at any point anywhere else, and he was walking at the exact same speed and the exact same tempo. And it was like, that was a huge gift from him for me. Like, I'll say it, that like there's definitely a world where that performance doesn't work and doesn't give you the ability to do stuff like that in the edit, but he was just such a perfect metronome.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because that's literally the next thing I was going to mention. That Chris Nash and the producers in the commentary, they mention Rye Barrett's walk being really grounding for everyone, as far as like them being able to direct you as far as what they wanted, and you being able to cut things in a certain way to make it seem more seamless, because Chris says something about initially they were kind of like, talking to you about doing longer takes, and then they kind of decided that they needed to do more cuts, and that Rye Barrett was so consistent that it made it a lot easier. Like, I noticed, like, only because they were talking about this at the moment that it happened, right? That there's a very small cut towards the beginning when Johnny's walking around the house, with the really annoying yelling guy
Chuck, yes.
Chuck, yeah, and there's like a tiny little moment where you can see that it cuts, but I feel like I would not have noticed if they were talking about it, right? So I was like, oh yeah, there's a cut right there, right? But it was so kind of integrated that I felt like there's probably tons of moments like that in the film that I did not notice.
Yeah, I mean, you generally don't want people to notice the edits when you're at. That's sort of the goal of editing, is to not really draw attention to it. But there were some moments in this movie, in particular near the end, where it was just kind of like, okay, we can flex a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's the process. There were quite a few versions of this movie. And that's, the earlier ones had more walking and that were not as structurally sound. They were not as tight. And that's just sort of the process. As you move through it, you recognize what's not working with this or that cut and what could be stronger. And then, it just gets better with each iteration. So that's, when I talk about how there's an early cut with like longer walking, it's like, it's not like it's the movie as you know it, but with longer walking. It's like quite a bit of it is not dialed in. And that was just a natural, like, part of the process that the movie that emerged out of it is much tighter and I think better for it. I love it when I hear a negative reaction to the movie that says that it's like nothing but walking. There's so much walking in that, because I know that there's not actually that much. It's like but I wanted you to feel that way. Like, that's the point. We want you to feel like it's nonstop him walking, like you're just constantly riding along with this guy. So hearing that's one of those negative reactions where it's like they're pointing out the thing that you were trying to do as if it's a bad thing, and that just makes me feel good. Like, I did it, and you're probably not. We're never gonna like this movie. That's fine. Yeah,
it's so funny that you say that, because honestly, I felt like I wanted more.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I like Terrence Malick, I like folk horror, moody folk horror, and I'm like, I was just like, ooh, I just want to like vibe with him in the woods some more. Where I was like, more sunsets. Like, I was in the back of my mind, while I'm having these thoughts watching it, I'm like, I know most people probably don't feel this way. So, but if anything,
there were some. I mean, I liked that a lot too. There were some negative reactions to the movie that were like, it's not slow enough. Like, it's not. Oh, these guys aren't doing slow cinema, which I thought was funny.
I don't think you can please everybody when it comes to that. I think y'all went the right direction with it. But.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's also funny. My favorite negative reaction to the movie is somebody who had an idea in their head of what like boxes it was supposed to check, and then it didn't check the correct boxes. So they're like, like that makes it bad. And as somebody who's like my first kind of experience seeing a lot of reactions to a thing, I'm like, man, people really want things to be exactly what they thought it was going to be, like very often, and it's like not the element of surprise is kind of, I don't know. I felt like it was a surprise to people probably that it was structured somewhat like a traditional slasher movie. Like more than you would have expected it to be. Like, from the pitch, it kind of, I think, looks like a movie made by people who don't really like slasher movies. But like we're gonna, there's that art house take where it's like we're gonna do it elevated, but the reality is it's quite the opposite. Like, we all love those movies. Like, this is a slasher movie. It's we're gonna have fun. We're approaching it a different way. But I mean, I'll speak for myself. I was very happy to be making a slasher movie. I saw it as a slasher movie. But
absolutely,
sort of a fresh take on it, because quite a few slasher movies don't really try things differently, which is fine. It seems like there's a whole world out there of people who are fine just kind of like hitting the beats and making a slasher movie, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But we saw it as I should say, I saw it as an opportunity to tackle it in a different way.
Yeah, I think that it strikes a great balance between those two things. This kind of like, I hesitate to say art house horror. I kind of hate that just as a descriptor, but between sort of that idea of something a little more folksy, a little bit more meditative, and then a traditional slasher. And because I love both those things, I was like, this is a great kind of pastiche of a lot of the traditional slasher stuff with a lot of like real beauty in it, and just there's just a lot of stuff in here I think that is very enjoyable, and I felt even more so on the second watch. So
oh, that's good to hear.
What was here's my question though. What do you feel is your biggest influence on the edit for this film? Like as from a film perspective, because I know you just said you're a fan of slashers. And it
Yeah.
seems like, from us being mutuals on Letterboxd, I see what you're watching.
Yeah.
And I see that you like pretty much a little bit of everything, right? So
I do, yes. I mean, I had my horror movie phase, which isn't really a phase. I still love horror movies, but I feel like you, and then like right from there, I went to like, got obsessed with melodramas. And I was like, I need to get super into melodramas. I consider those two genres to be really hand in hand, honestly. But yeah, I like, basically, I've had like a weird fixation phase on just about every genre. Like, I just love movies. I watch a lot of them, which makes me pretty good at my job, because editing is kind of just watching a movie in a really extreme, intense way. You're watching it repeatedly and you're making changes to it. Yeah, I don't know. What's the question? What's my contribution?
Yeah,
to it?
what did you feel like were the films that influenced when you were editing this film? Like what did you have in mind? Because, like, for instance, like Chris Nash in the commentary, he mentions Gus Van Sant being a big influence on him and on the film, and I was like, I love Gus Van Sant, and like he's like My Own Private Idaho is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I was like, I would have never. It just didn't occur to me, but I was like, I can see that absolutely. As soon as he brought that up, and it didn't sound strange anymore. But like just kind of like, because I know that you watch everything. What did you feel like was in your mind?
Well, he made me watch. I hadn't seen Last Days, the Gus Van Sant movie, and I watched that and loved
I haven't watched that one yet, but I feel like I'm gonna love it.
I adored it. I ended up watching it like 3 times, and it very kind of, I saw that as a pretty key touchstone, because it is following a subject around, even though the subject is like a stand-in for Kurt Cobain. It is a movie that just follows and studies like a subject. So I saw that as a good thing to have in my mind. I love the movie Fish Tank. I was watching that. Also 4:3, same aspect ratio. Yeah. Not that made a huge difference, but yeah, no, I had to watch a 4:3 movie. No, I just love that movie, and it's similar to Last Days. It kind of follows a subject around it. The fish tank is sort of the little world that she inhabits. Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that was being brought up. He brought up Alan Clark's Elephant, and then also said you can, like, in addition to that, Gus Van Sant's Elephant. So I was watching both of those. But the one I got really fixated on was, of the Gus Van Sant movies, it was Last Days for sure. But yeah, I mean, I was watching movies constantly. It's like I could fill more than an hour telling you all the movies I was watching while I edited that, because the process for this movie was, it took place over a very long amount of time, because we were kind of doing it like not as a job. Like it was just sort of like a thing that we were doing when we could do it. So yeah, it really evolved as it went. I brought up a lot of Pablo Larraín movies earlier on, so I was watching Jackie and Spencer. I love those movies. I love movies in general. The movie that I noticed that people kind of didn't really want to hear me mention as an influence, but which was like, and I say this like when I was being asked about it, like around Sundance and stuff later, I would just be like, well, like Alien, the theatrical cut of Alien is like one of the best edited horror movies ever. Like that was a huge thing. People's eyes just kind of glaze over when I mention that. I think because Alien is one of the most successful movies of all time. Like everybody knows Alien.
It's the best movie of all. It's Alex is my favorite movie of all time. It's my number one. You've seen. It's my number one on my top. Yeah.
No, it's
theatrical cut specifically, like the 4K. Have you watched the 4K?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my
it's
god,
gorgeous. That was one of the first 4Ks I watched.
I was like,
and I said,
slobbering.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was I was like, hit me again.
Yes, yeah. And that the movie
just makes you happy to be alive
slowly, and the ending of it is all flashing lights and like sirens. Like it's awesome. So that was one that I was watching quite a bit, but I noticed that people, I think it's just a better story to hear about the Gus Van Sant stuff. I think it's just like, that's more to write about. Can you believe this was like everybody's going to tell you Alien was an influence on their horror movie, I assume. So yeah, it's like
I should hope so.
Yeah,
like
but in terms of pacing, like as an editor, I really think that the Alien, like the pacing in Alien is just like the blueprint. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Also, another movie similarly ubiquitous, The Shining, as well, is amazing. I love The Shining. I've watched The Shining so many times. Yeah, it's great. It makes you feel like you're drowning in a nightmare.
I was so unsettled by it this last time. I did an episode about it towards the beginning, and with my friend Christina, and I was like, this movie upset me like this time around. Like, and I have seen it multiple times.
It's upsetting.
Something about it's because I have a child. It's because I have a kid now.
Sure.
You know,
yeah, that changes.
I was
everything.
like, bad vibes. You know, like it just was so. It was. I wouldn't call it scary, right? It was like disturbing to me. Like I felt so. I felt like I needed to cleanse my house after. You know?
It's deeply unsettling. But I noticed that, and like, because people love to hear about what the influences were in that. The more like of an obvious one that I mentioned, the more people were just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever, like that.
No, I loved it. I love to hear that. I love hearing all of that.
But I think it's important to keep watching movies. I know people who, because editing is a rough process on the eyes. Like it's a lot. It's watching movies on hard mode for most of your time. But I've found that it's important to keep watching movies because it's really easy to forget what a movie is and like what movies can get away with. It's very like watching Alien again, for example, watching the cut from Ash, the robot Ash head to like the Ian Holm head. It's so jarring and obvious that it's good. And they must have hated that, but like that so much of editing practical effects is just like being like, all right, well, we got to just do this. And like, more than anybody that it's fake. You can see the fake, like, so people would ask me like, how were you able to like edit those gruesome scenes? And I'm like, what? It's not real. What are you talking about? I know better than anybody that shit is not real. And I'm trying to like make it upsetting to you, but that's a dummy. That's a compliment though, because people to everyone involved in the film, right? It is a compliment for someone to be like, how what was that like? Yeah.
And you're like,
so gruesome.
It was all fake. And you're just like, but it hit them, and they forgot that for a minute. And that is fantastic.
Well, that shit works. It also helps quite a bit as an editor that you're like, the first time I went to like a big packed screening of the movie and I noticed how often people were looking away from the screen. I was like, oh, that does us some favors for all the parts where I consider it to be not as smooth of a cut. But now, the secret is that if it works, it just works. Like that's the terrible non-secret is that if people are willing, if they're enjoying the movie, then they're fine. That you can suspend your disbelief and see like an insert of a knife going into a clear dummy, and it's fine. You'll still react like it's that character.
Yeah, that's a good seed into kind of like the now infamous yoga lady kill scene in this film, which everyone will probably remember forever.
Yeah.
It'll be the lasting legacy of the film, for good or for ill, just because it's like it's so much of a shocker, right? It's kind of so extreme and it is very well done, right? And I think that's why it's so affecting. Can you tell me a little bit more about that scene from your perspective? I know you're like, you're kind of like the one editing out the stuff that looks obviously fake, I would assume.
You just want it to work mechanically. Like you want the information, the visual information, like A to B to C to D, to kind of make sense to people. It's like you're watching it's hard to describe it as this, but like a contraption of sorts, or like okay, now we're seeing that arm, now we're seeing this go there, now we're seeing this go there. Like it's my initial approach to it was just kind of bullet point information, but I wanted to. There are little shots in it that do way more work for it than you realize. Like even just like shots of her looking over the ravine or something like that. If you were to remove that from the sequence, it would kind of pull the whole House of Cards apart. So everything's important in there. But that was one that we had a version of for a while. And then Chris was still doing reshoots, or not to call them reshoots is a mistake. He was still doing pickups. And grabbing like just inserts of gore stuff, basically. So there's a few shots in that sequence that he shot in a backyard that he cheated for the location just by having it be such an extreme close-up that are in the movie for like less than a second. Like there's like a 12 frame cutaway in there that people that like punches the sequence up like crazy. So like we had a good enough version of it. I was happy with it, and then he was just like put these shots in. Like the very last things he shot for the movie, like brought in like 4 more shots for that sequence, which are all barely in it. They're all like in it for under a second, and they've like they really punched it up into the stratosphere in a huge way. So yeah, his background is in practical effects, so he has a lot of experience with what you're going to see and what's actually going to make it to the camera. And he definitely knew in his head that like seeing this extreme close up for under a second, for like the blink of an eye, is really gonna set people off. And yeah, one of those shots is the one where her neck bone pops, and
I love that shot.
Yes, every time I saw that movie in the theater, people reacted very loudly to that shot. Like that really seals the deal for people on that sequence.
Yeah, the second time when I was watching it, I was like, ew, and like grinned, you know?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't know. It's all just good fun to me. I honestly feel like it's such a testament to kind of how, you know, the quality of work that you did for this film, because I feel like as an editor, like so much of that, like, yes, there's like practical effects that have to carry and everything in that scene, but like, that's just like, for you, the editor, and then for like the sound people and everybody working on that scene, you know, it's totally seamless. Like you saying that he did these like, you know, pickup shots way later in a backyard or something, you know, and it's like, I certainly didn't notice that, you know, so it's yeah. Like
I just think like it's such a triumph. It's just maybe a fucked up thing to say about that scene, but it works so great. It's so great.
No, that was, I mean, by design, it's supposed to kind of be the showstopper. Like the movie works in a sort of by the early cuts in the movie are kind of happening off screen. The early kills, are kind of happening off screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's something that happens to you the first time you're watching it where you kind of think that maybe the movie is going to be like that, like it's going to be mostly an art house take on this, and it's not going to like go to the level of an extreme that like a more traditional slasher movie might, and then that kill just comes out and totally levels the playing field in a huge way, that's all very intentional, and it's great. I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah, I shouldn't keep speaking for other people.
It's that stuff that it marries, you know, this kind of new thing that everybody was trying to do with, the more traditional stuff, but also even taking that to kind of like a unique place. So I don't, as a huge Friday the 13th fan, like I have a poster of every single one of those in my kitchen, like an 11 by 17, you know, like our downstairs kitchen is like the Friday the 13th kitchen kind of like, I'm a huge fan of those films just cause they're they're just so fun. Like they're just really fun to watch and kind of endlessly rewatchable. And I think the aspects of this, you know, that remind me so much of what I love about that franchise, like really endeared me to this film, you know, because I could see that the people who made this, they were trying to do something, you know, now that I know, more like a Gus Van Sant version of Friday the 13th, which I was like, tell me more, you know? So it really worked for me. It really worked for me, honestly.
I'm glad. That's great. But I mean, we also like, so we had all these like inspirations and touchstones going in, but like the beauty of it is that at a certain point it just kind of emerges as its own thing. Like then you're in uncharted territory where you just have this movie that's so unique, and it's so much fun to watch over and over again and make, you know, little tweaks to. I grew very obsessed with it, which, you know, is a good thing. You kind of want to be obsessed with your work as an editor, but for a time, I was honestly just waking up and watching it like every day, and then just see like what little tweaks to it I could make, and kind of a little shorter here and a little longer there. And Chris was remarkably what is the term, like hands off with me during that time. He was he had a very specific deliberate ideas like all throughout, like up to a point, and then at a certain point he was like, okay, and then he just kind of left, and like then it was kind
That's
of
rad.
like getting like he would watch cuts and obviously give me feedback, but past a certain point I was sort of just watching it, and now I ask for this on movies that I do. I want like a smoothing week, or like at least like a week, just to kind of like Howard Hughes with his hands on a plane, just kind of like keep going over it and over it, and kind of making adjustments that amount to like microscopic things that you would never consciously notice, but I have to believe that you would subconsciously notice them, or else I'm, what am I doing here?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's, I think, how you need to feel as an artist about the thing that you're working on, or why do it. It's like,
yeah.
You have to be feeling something about it, or maybe you're on the wrong track if you're not, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you kind of, you have to be obsessed. You have to kind of be, I don't know. I tell everybody, like, you don't, I can't imagine a worse reason to get into filmmaking than like wanting to make money. It's not really like that. If you want to like be successful and live comfortably, like by God, go to I don't know, go to some trade school. And that's fine. That sounds beautiful to me. I would love to have health insurance, but like I do this because I'm obsessed with it, and it's often to my own detriment. It's often it's often not a comfortable life. It's it's a freelance career, but yeah, it's worth it if you really love it, which I do. And yeah, I loved this movie very much. So I was thrilled that this got to be my first movie as an editor anyway. Yeah. And I definitely was like, while I was editing it, I was just like, I think it makes sense that like I had interviewed for movies previously and not gotten them. And I think I was just kind of like, I don't think my enthusiasm was quite as palpable or visible for those projects. And then this one, I was just like, oh my God, like, and I was just this total just freak for it. And I think that probably helped me.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny that you were kind of texting, all the things you disliked about this other film. And it was almost like he understood, on a fundamental level, like that what he had in mind was maybe going to be more your speed. I just love that. I don't know. It's a great story.
Just the passion, I think, kind of came through, and
that you cared so much.
yeah. But I do. I mean, I love movies, and I don't. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this the other day about like, but the description's like, oh, they're doing a slasher movie, but trying to make it like an art movie. So like, no, I'm one of those guys who kind of thinks every movie is art, like literally every one of them. So to me, slasher movies are, and have always been like, I don't know. I don't think it does you any favors to categorize things as if like that thing is more worthy of analysis than this other thing. Like The Mutilator is not as worthy of analysis or something. It is. Have you seen that movie? My God, I could talk about The Mutilator for
I have. I haven't seen that, but I agree with that sentiment 100%. I'm like, it may not be your cup of tea. Doesn't mean it's not art.
Yeah. I should definitely clarify. I'm not saying everything is good art.
Right.
But it's just even exploitation, even
right?
the most exploitation of movies, like there is an amount of creative thought. Like you can't not have creative thought in that. Even like movies like Sleepaway Camp, where I like I watched the bonus features on Sleepaway Camp forever ago, and I just remember that like a lot of the actors were like, yeah, we kept asking the director what these scenes meant, and he was like, nothing, I don't want to talk about it. And like even that, which
there's like, something going on there.
Yeah. Oh, that's have you?
You don't want to talk about it. What?
A movie so clearly made by somebody who never went to therapy as Sleepaway Camp.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like no, I think even on that level, even if they're in denial about it themselves, it's like, yeah, no, this is a creative statement. Yeah. I'm sorry. At some point,
I mean, the subtext is rich, right?
Yeah. Yes, very.
That just means, to me, that just means you can find whatever applies to you in that, if they're not gonna, and that's totally, you're right. If you're making something and you're like, I don't really want to talk about it, that's like David Lynch, but like, that means that's so rich, right? There's so much then you can really dig into it and put whatever you want on it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the best
for
approach.
The audience.
I think the Lynch approach was right. I'm just really chatty and excited about things I work on, so I always end up saying shit. But yeah, like the best thing you can do is just say nothing and let people have whatever interpretations they want to have about stuff. I definitely am not in the habit of correcting anybody if they tell me what their interpretation of this or that, especially with like the ending of the movie. I love hearing what people think that is and what it means. I also love hearing people be like, "Why does the movie do that?" And like that.
Why?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, man.
I don't know if you're like, I loved it until the ending. I'm always like, oh, you didn't get it. Like you didn't get the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I guess. All right, man.
Should I not say that? Is that
No. I mean, like you're gonna sit through the whole movie and then be like, I just didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. But that goes back to my kind of thing where people kind of don't really like to be surprised. There was a lot of people that were like, why didn't you follow your own rules? Or and it's like, what? When did we fucking make rules? What are you talking about? What?
Yeah, you're like, what rules?
You can do whatever you want in a movie. That's the beauty of that's kind of the beauty of creative expression.
That's just a funny take, like in general, right? Because like the movie is already obviously trying to do different things.
Yes,
like if you're paying attention up till that point, it's like not everything is happening consistently. You know, it's like there's different things being tried out and explored. So I think that's just such an odd take to me. Yeah. Also strange because like the end is one of the parts of the end is my favorite part of this film, but I can bring that up in a sec. But
okay.
So they mentioned the guys drop your name 2 times in the commentary for this film, which is a really great commentary, by the way. I recommend to everybody if you're into film commentaries like I am. This one's a really good one. But the second time they name drop, is the scene that you were talking about earlier, with Johnny just walking through the woods for a long time after he kills the yoga lady. Mm-hmm. And what they say was kind of making me laugh because they were saying, maybe I misinterpreted what they were saying, but what I interpreted was that they were saying that you would maybe defend the long takes, and they said that you might say something like, the walking is the set piece. And then they kind of laugh. So it was like, is this a conversation that y'all had about this?
I mean, sort of. To me, that's as much like, it's not a coincidence. It's right next to the longest walking shot is next to the like most sensational kill in the movie. Like to me, those are both enormous tent poles in what the movie is. And that's kind of like the A and the B. If you want to go like A-side slasher movie, B-side like slow cinema movie or whatever, that's both of them reaching their peak at the same time. So yeah, no, I love that shot very much. I'm thrilled by it every time because like without fail, every time, like people always react to the yoga kill and people always kind of shift in their seats watching the walking take for a long time where they're just like, oh man, this is still, how long is it going to be? And it's under 2 minutes, but I think people get the idea that this, like, I like the idea that people are unsure how long it's going to go. Like, wait, is this going to be 10 minutes long?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, if only.
I love that though, because it's like you've lulled everybody into a false sense of security. Like with the first kill, you know, they do you do the match cut there, where it's like he's just kind of reaching for the guy's face and then his hand is bloody. And so I think it lulls people into this sense that like all the kills are kind of going to be like that. And then you do the opposite, right? And then everyone's unsettled from that point on, which is fantastic.
I mean, it's good to kind of do your own thing. I don't know. I don't want to say act too much like it's, but yeah, I mean, we want to be taking left turns and surprising people and unsettling people. Like the best thing a movie can be, in my opinion, is kind of formally unpredictable. So
especially in horror, you know, but I mean, for any genre, but I think especially for horror, and it's hard to do these days, right? It's hard to show people something that they haven't necessarily seen before, especially horror fans who are real. We're all real obsessives and we've watched everything. So
yeah.
So they talk a lot about how the film essentially had to be shot twice. What was your experience with that? Where were you brought in?
I was brought in after the first attempt. And I didn't watch any of that footage because I knew that Chris didn't want to use any of it.
That's such a bummer. That's so hard, though. Psychologically, I'm sure.
I mean, I just knew that it was he wanted to just do a completely new take on it. And the fact that the Rye was not Johnny in that first attempt too was like kind of sealed the deal. or so. But we did end up using a very brief shot from it in the end because what they got in the second attempt just wasn't quite as good. And it's the shot where he's looking at Chris, the main character, played by Andrea. I don't remember how to pronounce
Pavlovich.
Is Pavlovich. Yes, yeah. I know her as Andy. She's great. But they used that shot from the first attempt of him looking through the window at her. And that's yes, Peter likes to joke that that's the most expensive shot in the movie because it is. They did a whole shoot. But yeah, I was brought on after, and there was definitely some like trepidation, but it just seemed like it was, they knew what they were doing. They got a chance to do it again. Yeah.
That's great. It sounds like it was pretty seamless as far as, how they were able to bring you in and give you everything that you needed.
Yeah. I mean, there was some hope that we might be able to like edit it as they were shooting it just to speed up the timetable, which I should also say every independent producer pitches that at one point. Like everything I've been brought onto, of course it would be great. Wouldn't it be great if we, skipped post entirely? But no, we really couldn't do that on this because it's like what I was talking about with Chris getting those gore shots and, like with a slasher movie, I couldn't see a way to really do it all. And I'm not the sort of person who likes to edit scenes individually out of order. I know that's often part of the job. Sometimes they want to see this or that scene first, and that was still true on this movie. But as much as I can, I like to just kind of put a whole cut of the movie together and put the whole thing on one timeline and make adjustments to that whole thing on one timeline, rather than cut parts of it out of context and dial them in. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, but to me, it's all, especially for this movie, it was really important to me anyway, that it feel like one movement, like one, I didn't want it to feel like several different parts of the same movie.
Yeah, it seems like it also gave you that chance to, like, what did you call it? The whole having a whole week that's a wash or something.
Or the
smoothing,
pass,
where you could just really like work on all the little details.
It was way more than a week, but it was also not like something I was doing every day. It was just sort of whenever I had time to get back to the movie. But yeah, now I'm more. Jobs now are way more deliberate with their scheduling with me because they're like real jobs. But I will ask for that to be packed into the schedule where it's like, oh, can I get some time after we have, the director's pretty much happy with it, where I can just kind of make very small adjustments to it, like repeatedly. And that's, people are usually pretty cool about that. Yeah.
That's great. It seems like this first experience, gave you an opportunity to realize that that's something that you really wanted. So.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, I've done a lot of weird work for money. I've done all kinds of stuff as an editor, but in this case, I was really like, I was thrilled to be doing it. So I was trying not to be too difficult, but I was also kind of like, I need to impress upon you that I'm going to be approaching this like in sort of a particular way that I'm going to try to stick to, and that's going to be what hopefully makes it, special in the end. And maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe I'm full of shit.
I think so, Alex.
Thanks, Sandy. I appreciate that.
So the scene towards the end with Chris, played by Andy Pavlovich. Pavlovich, running through the woods alone in the dark with the sounds of the woods is my favorite part of this film.
Oh, nice.
And in large part, honestly, I feel due to the way that it is edited and the work of the sound crew.
Yes,
it reminds me a little bit of
and Michelle, who I should shout them out. They did the sound design on the movie.
Thank you for shouting them out.
They're incredible. I had a temp, like soundscapes I had taken off like free sound and shit, just like a nothing thing that all of that got thrown out. And then they, when we turned it over to them, and then they just made the movie like really come to such a lush, vibrant life with the sound they did for it.
Yeah. The scene reminds me a little bit of the Blair Witch Project, which is one of my favorites.
Yep.
And I just think that if you're asking me, that's like kind of the highest praise I could give it, right? Is that it just reminds me of the visceral feeling that you get watching certain parts towards the climax of Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Can you tell me just a little bit about how you approach that scene, just because it's my personal favorite?
Oh yeah. I actually I had a lot of fun with that scene. but yeah, that was one that Chris really let me kind of do my thing with. I think he saw it and he knew that they had like a lot of coverage of her running through the woods, and like it was just like, yeah, just show me like what you're gonna do with this. And I'm very deliberately not trying to like point out the editing or like have the editing be noticeable for the rest of the movie, but in that scene I was just like, all right, well, I guess like I'm just gonna go nuts on this or try to make it feel, I wanted to make it feel very loopy and very like not, there was a moment when I was considering asking if we could reuse footage, but I decided to bail on that idea. But I wanted it to feel not at all like she was moving in a straight line, like not at all. It's the answer to that question that people are always asking in horror movies, like, why doesn't she just run? And you're like, well, that's why. Like now she's running through the woods in the middle of the night, and it's terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not an easy way out.
That's why I think it reminds me of Blair Witch, because there's that part where they're like, we've been going in circles, and then I don't know if you like, I live up in the mountains, so it's like, and I grew up in the woods, so I kind of am like, have you ever like been in the woods at night? Like it's really scary, like it's terrifying, like you lose your sense of direction, like, and it was so real to me, like that particular part of the film, where just the terror of that, and the woods kind of being sinister in and of themselves, even if Johnny is not around. Totally. Or the Blair Witch is not around. It's the woods themselves that
there's
are
a shot in that sequence
your enemy.
Too. They shot it with wide angle lenses, so it wasn't as close to her as it looks. But there's a shot in that sequence where I'm always convinced Andy is about to get her fucking eye poked out. Like there's a branch gets so close to her eye.
Oh god, yeah.
I made sure to use it, but I just in the edit I was like, good god, that's so close. And then like Chris reminded me, like, oh, it's a wide angle lens. She's not that. Yeah. I was like, oh,
if Johnny doesn't get you the branches, well,
one of them does. She gets stuck in the leg. Man. But that was one that I did a lot of versions of that sequence, and Chris was really, really cool about kind of letting me have some fun with that. I guess my version of fun in making it like completely like an assault on the senses in a way. But yeah, that was and I loved talking to the sound designers about that too. I got to be on a call with them about that particular sequence and kind of just kind of talk to them about how I thought it should feel with Chris's blessing. Like Chris was in agreement about it, but I was very like, that needs to feel not like, it just needs to feel like she's not making progress. Like it needs to feel like it's not like a deliberate gradual crescendo. Like it is sort of funhouse mirror. Which is, I guess, one way of putting it. I don't know. I'm just throwing out buzzwords now.
No. I think that you succeeded in that very much so. And I don't know if you make like a reel as an editor or something, but that scene should be in there.
I do have.
That's what I think.
There's one shot from Violent Nature. I should make a new one, but I haven't really needed one since I started.
It's just so effective. I think everything about it is really top notch. It's my favorite scene in the film. So
that's amazing to hear. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
What was your favorite part about working on this film?
My favorite scene in the movie is the campfire scene. It's also the scene I worked hardest on and longest on, and it's very funny. Everybody assumes that you work on the kill scenes the most. No, that campfire scene has so much dialogue in it, and it needs to feel comfortable, and it needs to feel, and the camera's moving constantly, and like I was very fixated on making that scene feel smooth. So yeah, I love it. But that's the stuff that really is kind of exciting to me. It's like the other stuff is very exciting and fun to do. The more violent stuff is very exciting and fun to do. But when you have pages and pages of exposition and it needs to feel smooth and it needs to feel, that's the actually difficult part of the job. That's making those scenes feel smooth and not like the movie is just stopping so that everybody can tell you what's going on in the movie. That's huge. But yeah, no, I loved that scene. I got one of the songs in it is by my friend Jess, who did a great job.
Sweet.
And then there's another song later in the sequence by a band called Holy Motors that I was using in the temp edit and made it into the final movie, which almost never happens. Any editor will tell you that's like the one of the great heartbreaks of the job is you're going to lose all your temp music. Getting taken out. No, I was like, there's got to be a way we can get this song. I was really like, please, and they made it work. Bless them, Peter and Chris made it work.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah.
I get it. That whole scene is your baby. I get it.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, Chris actually did like some dialogue editing in that scene. There were stretches of it that he
nice.
took home and was like, I think, because he had really, really specific ideas about what needed to be said about like the backstory with Johnny. So that I promise you, no scene in this movie was my baby. This movie is Chris.
You're like, Chris is gonna get mad at me.
No, well, it is completely his baby. This is the analogy I make with people where it's like I help deliver it. I'm like, you hire me for my skills. Yeah, but like it is 1,000%. This movie was living in his head.
Nice.
I got to put my mark on it and help out with it.
Yeah, you got to be part of it.
I get along really well with. I meet a lot of writers and directors who do their own editing. It's always this really annoying thing where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to work with them, but we get along really well because they like to do their own editing, and that's kind of my cause, or it's become my cause. It's like, you don't have to do all that work. Like I know you know how to drive a car, but I'm a faster and better driver than you are, and I can solve problems in ways that you wouldn't think to solve them, and that's sort of why you don't need to put that much on you. But now I certainly understand why people like to do their own editing. I think it's something that you can let somebody else do. Yes. And it's not, you're not losing. I think the fear is that they're going to lose control over the movie or something. It's like, no, like I'm still working for you.
You need somebody who's who you get along with, who you can, you can work with.
Like my loyalty is to the movie completely. And I'm not going to get in your way about what you think the movie's going to be, but it's just like you're sitting shotgun and navigating, and I'm like, you have to let me drive, and that's it. That's, I guess, editing. I don't know. I made a weird editing analogy in a Q&A once about how I'm the drummer in the band. If there's, if that makes sense, I don't know.
It does, yeah.
Remarkably, a lot of people at Q&As will raise their hand and be like, "What do you do? Like, what is editing? What's your job?" I'm just like, well, there's, how every shot in the movie begins and ends.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, that's me.
Or it's just the whole movie is a one shot.
Yeah, there's many pieces need to be put together, assembled into a movie.
Yes, you have a very necessary job.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love hearing
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now.
Into the mirror to myself as an affirmation. Yeah.
Yep, every morning. How was it seeing this for the first time at Sundance after it had been like a year, right, since you had worked on it?
Oh man. Well,
what was that like?
A very thrilling experience. But it was also kind of I had the anxiety leading up to it. Like, oh my God, like this screening is going. I hope this goes well. I don't know. And then like it went well. And then it kind of walking away, I remember talking to Chris and being like, it feels like we just screened the movie. Like it doesn't feel like we just like had this earth shattering big like thing. It just feels like, we had a screening of the movie and it went pretty well. And then I just wanted to watch it again, like with other crowds and kind of see how it played as it rolled out. But yeah, it being at the Sundance that year at Sundance too was really something. It screened in the same room where I had just seen. We all went and saw Soderbergh's Presence like the previous night, or I don't know, and I saw the TV Glow also, and I loved those movies. And I was like, oh, these are like real movies, like our movies, like a real movie, like these movies. Yeah. So that was
especially after having that much time between it. It's you just don't feel. Like you're the same person even anymore.
Yeah, I finished editing a movie last year. I have no idea when it's going to come out. And then a movie I just finished the edit on, which is they're still doing stuff too. Like that. Who knows when I'll see that.
Are you allowed to tell us anything about anything more about what you've been working on, or is that all we get?
No, I don't think I can. But yeah,
all right.
I know there's a huge lag time in when you finish and when the thing comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there is I should plug the Sundance Video Diary on the Blu-ray. If you have the Blu-ray on disc 2,
yes,
I made a Sundance Video Diary on an old mini DV camera.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I was doing it kind of as a joke, and then like because you know how DVDs in the early 2000s always had like a Sundance Video Diary. They're like, yay, Sundance! Like
there used to be so much stuff on Handycam, the old discs.
So I made it as like a joke, and then they actually emailed me like a while later, like, "Hey, we're getting extras together for the Blu-ray. Like, can we have your Sundance Video Diary?" And I was like, "Oh shit,
awesome.
yeah, of course you can." Yeah,
Well, I was gonna say, I was surprised how much stuff there is on this, on the Blu-ray. Like how many extras there are. You know, it reminded me of like an old school DVD. You know, and it made me so happy because I was like, I always expect there to be like 2 things now. You know, most of them.
I will
like a couple
say
things, but-
the authoring company seemed really excited when I sent them my stuff. I edited 2 other things for it too. Just like smaller things. Pierce, the cinematographer who did an amazing job on the movie, obviously also made a documentary about the first attempt at shooting the movie, which is on there too.
Wow.
And I strongly recommend you watch it. It's incredible. I find it very funny, but it's because we're living in the world where like this worked out.
Yeah. You can laugh now about it.
Yeah.
And no one will be offended.
But no, I remember emailing them the stuff, like the people at whatever the Blu-ray company was or DVD company, like, oh, here's what I made. And they were like so excited, like, wow, thank you so much. This is so much fun. Like, I could feel through their email that they were thrilled to get, like, I was like, oh, they must not be used to getting a lot of stuff from people. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, like I said, like this movie was a kind of a labor of love for a lot of us. So we had a lot of time to put shit together. I made pre-shows for like I made video art out of this movie. I have like a lot of stuff in the bank that was used just kind of to warm up the lobby and stuff before screenings of the movie.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's weird doing other movies now where that's kind of not part of it, where you kind of just do the thing and then it's done and then you just walk away and you don't spend months and months obsessing over it and making extra stuff. But yeah, I mean everybody, we all just loved. I'll speak for myself. I loved this movie. I really loved getting to do it. So.
I'm so glad that you had such a positive experience for this first one. I feel like it's maybe hopefully it won't ruin it, like that when you have a harder time, but at least you have this one, like you have this, this really wonderful experience all around, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I'm editing out all the more frustrating phases of the process, I'm sure, in my head. I mean, it wasn't like
but the fact that you can even do that, no, but the fact that you're able to do that means that you had a positive, a very positive experience overall, and that's lovely.
And I'm still friends with all these people too. It really was just a very good turn in my life. So yeah, I'm very proud of it. And that's, being proud of the movie too kind of makes me invincible to like just really being amused by the like negative reactions to it. Yeah. Because it was a very polarizing movie, but that was sort of something that's
like a mark of honor at this point. At least I see it that way, because it made people feel something. I don't know, like the worst thing in the world is for people to be like, it's fine, Yeah, I think more if it makes people have a reaction to it in some way, or at least even having just a dialogue, right? Like having a conversation about it. I think that there, regardless of whether or not people really loved this, I think people were definitely having a conversation about it, and that in and of itself is great.
Yeah, that's totally true. Yes, yeah. I think unremarkable is the worst thing.
I don't think you could say that about this film. I really don't. So.
Yeah.
There's a few things, if even for the people who didn't like it, there's parts that I think they won't forget. So
that's a good way of putting it.
So I know, you went to TIFF?
Yeah, recently? I was up at TIFF.
Was there anything good? You see anything good?
No.
Anything you enjoyed?
Not a thing. No, I did. I saw there was a comedy called The Napa Boys that I really enjoyed. That was
I remember you. I saw your review of that. You were enthusiastic.
It's similarly a movie that I think a lot of people are like can take one look at and kind of be like, that's not a real movie. Like, what the fuck is that? But it's very. I enjoyed it heartily. I was laughing quite a bit. Yeah,
that's great.
But I didn't get to see as many TIFF movies as I wanted to this year. I made some video art for Peter Kaplowski does an event called Midnight Dankness before TIFF each year, and I made a bunch of stuff for that screened there. So yeah.
What is that event exactly that he does?
It's kind of an event where he rents out a theater in Toronto and kind of gets to show whatever he wants. So he showed a Matt Farley movie called Evil Puddle, and I forget what his second movie was this year. And then there was a remix of the movie V for Vendetta, which was sort of like in the racer trash style, but I didn't do a segment on that. I was too busy. I made a lot of other stuff though. Like I got, because of my time as a streamer, I got really good at making the like sort of pre-show and interstitial stuff, like all the connective tissues. So I usually make like a good amount of that kind of runs. I make the stuff that runs with the lights up, like at those events, which is a fun challenge for me. I actually really like that creative space. I like to make ambient stuff that people are probably not going to be looking at. And it's just going to be in the corner of their eye. But yeah, I've been going up pretty much every year for that, and seeing what I can while I'm at TIFF.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I have friends up there now, which is great. I love my Toronto friends.
Oh, I've still never been to Toronto.
That's great.
Want to go, but I want to wait a minute till things in the world kind of slow down a little bit.
I was wondering that on the way back in. I was like, is crossing the border going to be more difficult? And it was not, like, by any stretch.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
which
good
I was
to hear.
surprised by. But I think it's probably in my favor that they look at my passport and see that I go up for that film festival like every year. So
Yeah,
they're just like, oh, he's just going to the film festival again. Whatever.
Yeah. So you have a job these days working at a video store, and I have to say I am kind of jealous of this because there just aren't that many left, you know, and I'm really, really into physical media. I'm a big nut when it comes to that, and I just wanted to ask you about that. And are there any lesser known VHS/film discoveries over the years that you would recommend? I see you do it, you'll be like, I bought this one for the video store or whatever.
Yeah, that's the danger of working at a video rental store. I should say I work at 4-Star Video Rental in Madison, Wisconsin. We are one of the last remaining video rental stores in the country. We do exist. We're there. People do rent movies from us.
Yeah. I wish I lived closer to Wisconsin because I would come and visit you and just bask in the vibes of being in a VHS
It's
store.
the next big city. Just watch. We're going to ruin it. But
totally serious.
The danger of working at a video rental store is finding out what we don't have and then being like, oh no, I need to buy this for the store. Like, I can't believe we don't.
Well, I was very pleased that you bought one of my trash favorites. I still know what you did last summer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Better than the original, I think. Probably the most.
I think so too.
The most interesting of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies, and it's one that they cranked out in like less than a year from the release of the original, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking to somebody, one of the customers at the store, who described it as like a bargain bin Jacques Tourneur movie. I was like, that's awesome. Yeah, that they could kind of see the echoes of I Walked with a Zombie in that. And I was like, yeah, okay,
sure,
yeah, sort of. There is a really insensitive portrayal of voodoo in it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jack Black with dreadlocks.
Yes, uncredited.
Uncredited. Can't imagine why.
Yeah, he's in it. Mekhi Phifer is in it. Brandy is in it. Yeah.
Brandy, my love.
I like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. But yeah, that was definitely one where I was like, oh my God, we don't have this. Another one was The Mutilator. I made us get that. I think The Mutilator is a great slasher movie.
I need to watch this now. I've never
seen
The Mutilator.
It's way more charming than it sounds, I promise.
I'm happy to watch it.
But I work there. I take a lot of movies home. I watch a lot of movies. It's fun. It's similar to experimental filmmaking. It's not something you get into because you want to get rich. It's something you do because you're obsessed with it. And it's just nice. I like when I'm working there, I will take every excuse I can to be like, oh, I'll go look for that for you. And then I get to walk the shelves of a video store, get that really
you're like, please
pleasure.
Let me look for it for you.
I don't want to look it up on the computer. I don't want to I think that's over there. Let me go look for it. But no, we have like a pretty dedicated, loyal fan base or like renter base. A lot of them don't have streaming or just never got into streaming. So they'll ask us about things like, is Killers of the Flower Moon ever going to come out on disc? And I'm like, man, I hope so.
But
Apple
Criterion, get on it.
I think they asked, and Apple said no. Apple is.
I hate hearing that.
Adamantly trying to make it, the only place you can find it is on Apple TV. Yeah.
See, I'm really hoping they're going to do the Tragedy of Macbeth. Joel's movie, because I'm a big Shakespeare nut, And I hate hearing that. Oh man.
I have to believe that at some point they're going to be like, wait, we could make a little more money if we did this. Like,
For real though,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand the argument. To me,
Yeah.
it just seems like more money. I don't know. I guess I'm an
Yeah.
idiot, but
we're still in I don't know. But the streaming thing is still kind of, yeah. I couldn't tell you how any of that is profitable, but yeah, whatever, man.
it's nuts.
I do like to work at a video store where I can get discs and bring them home and watch them, not have to count on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love to just read your little bits and pieces from
Thanks.
from your
Yeah.
cool job, man.
I think that's turning into
your other
what-
cool job.
I'm glad you think it's a cool job. It's
Well,
it's not so
It's me,
glamorous.
so sorry.
Being one of the sweaty guys at the video rental store. But yeah, I that's kind of turned into what Letterboxd is for me, is like posting about like discoveries at the video store, instead of me being like I'm getting further and further away from like seeing a new movie and like criticizing it online. Like I feel like I don't think I really need to do that.
yeah, I don't think any of
yeah.
us need any of that
No.
anymore. It's
Well,
more like I
saw-
really like to use Letterboxd to talk about films I love these days.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
just
I
wanna
got
put
so
positive
burnt out
things.
on
Yeah. There was
just having to talk about movies I didn't like, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Don't enjoy that.
I saw there was a producer at TIFF I was talking to after his movie screened, and he was like cruising Letterboxd, like, oh, I just want to see the reactions. And I was like, dude, you have to remember, like, those are not review, like those are posts. Those are
absolutely.
and those people could be any age and any like have any level of experience with the movie. Like I read review. I remember I read an In a Violent Nature review that specifically was like, oh, the editing in this sucked, and I was like, oh, what? And then because I'm a masochist, I clicked through and saw that their profile said I'm 14 years old.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, like that's
the authority
yeah.
on editing.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so like you can't treat Letterboxd
It's
like
like
it's full of
3 kids in a trench coat.
yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, similarly, I think like being like, oh, I wish people would post more serious reviews on Letterboxd is like also missing the point. It's like, no, it's a social media app.
Yeah.
It's for posting about movies. That's it. Like no one owes anybody a good review.
It's for
on there.
making weird little lists,
Yeah,
Alex.
yeah.
We all know that's
Right,
what it's
the
for.
lists, the logging. Yeah, I don't do Hooptober. I don't get it. But you
Yeah,
guys
I
knock
don't do it
yourselves
either.
out.
Yeah, have fun with it, right?
You can gamify.
What's the point if you're not
discovering
having
new
fun?
movies. Yeah, I get that. I'm just always taking home a stack of like 10 movies from the video store, and it's like often it's something like Don't Say a Word with Michael Douglas that I just never saw as a kid and wanted to know what the twist was, and I watch it and the movie's fine, and I'm like, okay, I've seen that now. Like,
You're like,
it.
yes.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
often the
The three-
discovery is not an earth-shattering thing. You're just like, okay, now I've checked this.
That's
box.
what
Yeah.
you've said it. The Letterboxd is for the 3-star review. Right?
Yeah.
It's like it was okay.
Yeah. Well, I had fun. Yeah. I got to watch a movie.
That's right.
Oh, I
Alex.
took home. I'm very excited about the Leopard, though. I'm gonna watch this 3-hour Italian movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to watch that. I haven't yet, but I really want to. I've only recently started to really get into Italian films. Like really, just started to finally explore. What's his name, Fellini.
Yeah.
And
I'm not.
and then
yeah,
branching
I'm not
out from there. So
well versed on much art house shit, which is funny because I went to film school, and like everybody I know who did not go to film school who's in movies is like has seen all of the like knows every French New Wave movie, and I flatline if a customer comes in asking me about the
No.
French New Wave. I'm like, oh shit, sorry.
No. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still a blank spot for me as well. But I have been getting into Italian films, which has been really
Yeah.
fun. So yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot.
Well, that was fun.
But
yeah.
they're all super long, like you said. It's like they're all like
they're all
great.
like 3 hours long. Yes,
like
well,
Dolce Vita is like 4 hours long. I
what's
just
fun
we
to
watched that over
remember,
like 3 days.
Well, I love giallo movies, and like that was kind of my gateway into Italian movies. But what's fun to remember, at least about giallo movies, and also to keep in mind about like sort of Italian cinema of a certain era, is that people were smoking and talking throughout the movie. Like the movie-going environment in Italy at that time was such that like they were writing movies knowing that people were not going to be like sitting quietly paying attention
Yeah.
to them.
Oh, that's a great
actually
point.
were. Yeah, they actually were like social events for at least a lot of them were.
So they were like,
yeah.
"You're going to be here for a while."
Yeah. So it's very often it's okay to like take that approach to it. Don't pause it if you have to get up and do something. It's fine. Like just leave it. Just let a movie stay on.
Yeah. I just saw a 35 millimeter original print of Blood and Black Lace a few weeks ago.
I love that movie.
I'm a huge Bava fan, and it was just the end was like cut off. The last like 20 seconds, and they were like, so that's the print we have, and the end is cut off, but this is what happens in those last few seconds." And I was like, awesome. I love this. Yeah. Like, it was so awesome.
I love that.
I live close to the Mahoning Drive-In, which is an incredible outdoor, drive-in, and they do all old films, mostly like
oh, great.
Like anything like pre 2010 basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, fantastic, awesome place.
Oh, that's cool. Yes. I love that. I love stories about the movie being it's funny because I am so controlling once it's my stuff. Like I was watching A Violent Nature on Shudder to see how they compressed it for streaming. I was like, oh, how's this gonna look? But like the truth is that you can't control how anybody is gonna experience your art. Like once you're done with it, it's out in the world and anything could happen. I was cracking up watching like there was a clip that got posted online of a kid who I think it was a joke, but he was like, oh man, he was fast forwarding or hitting the next 5 seconds button on the walking scene from A Violent Nature, like all the way through it. I thought that was so funny. Yeah. Yeah. But that's, you can't. Yeah. People are going to watch your movie on a fucking phone. It's true. God. Like that. People are absolutely going to watch your movie with their phones in their faces. It's fine. That's just the world that we live in. So yeah, you can't, you want to be, you have the instinct very much to control how, like, no, please, like, watch the movie this way. But like, no, people are going to do whatever they want with it, man. You got to just let it out of the nest and see what happens. Mm-hmm.
I think this film, the best thing you could say at this point is that I think it's true that it's found its audience, right? Yeah. And it's not the audience is not the kid fast forwarding through the walks. You know what I mean? Like it did find its audience, and that's I think all any of us can hope for as artists is that there's some people who like what we made.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, thank you so much. This was so fucking awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. No, I'm glad you wanted to talk to the editor. Editors are invisible as the job dictates. So it's nice to be.
I'm blowing your shit wide open. So
yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad you enjoyed the
absolutely.
movie and wanted to ask me questions about it.
Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I just want to say thank you again to Alex Jacobs for being with me for this incredible episode. It was truly fantastic, and I loved talking to him. I hear that there is In a Violent Nature 2 in the works. So if you listened to the episode just now, you know that Alex couldn't get into a lot of detail about potential upcoming projects that he's been working on and things like that. But yeah, that's what I've heard. We'll see. There's no release date set for a potential sequel to the first film yet. But I think that would be fantastic, and I would love to see a whole trilogy or series of films come from that initial venture into ambient horror, because I think it's a great, interesting take on the slasher genre. And just had an absolute blast. From here on out, I will be moving all of the spells that I share with y'all to Patreon, and we'll make them adjacent to the mini episodes. So hope to see you over there. And thank you so much, as ever, for listening. And on that note, as above, so below, and peace out until next time. This podcast is produced by David Settle. He also made the music.